So, we need from you two inputs. First is how is the market shaped up in India? Because I was talking to people, for example, there are 2-3 laboratories who have booths side by side. And they say, somebody said that, our volumes, so out of 100 stones that we get, 70 are lab-grown diamonds. Like your team was also saying that it has substantially increased. So what are your learnings from the Indian market, on the general level? And why do we need certification for lab-grown diamonds? Because there is a myth that only natural diamonds need certification. So please take these 3 questions. I look forward to that.
Sure. Hello everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Chirag. I'm the co-founder and director of SGL. My partner Shirin is right here. We started this back in 2007. It's a pleasure to have you here. To begin with, yes, my name is Chirag, which gives light. Soni is something that is I'm not a practicing Soni, nor was my dad or my granddad for that matter. We just happen to be Sonis, I'm sure.
आपके DNA में Soni?
DNA में Soni है, for sure, yes. Exactly. On the Indian market, I guess the segment that we're talking, laboratory grown diamonds, it's one of the hottest segments today. If you look at any funding that is happening in the industry, right? Any VCs, any angel investors that are talking to anybody in the industry, it's all lab grown diamond retail brands. Somehow they don't want to touch a natural diamond jewelry store or a natural diamond jewelry brand. I don't know why, but lab grown, of course, is the product of the hour. And I have spoken to a few VCs myself in the past, and they seem to be very keen on this segment. Obviously, for known reasons, that this is one of the fastest growing segments. Laboratories, on their own terms, have stopped certifying lab-grown diamonds. That's their call. I wouldn't want to comment on their behalf, but if you talk about STL, for us, lab-grown diamonds jewelry segment per se is one of the fastest growing. So depending on the laboratory that we are talking about, let's say Surat, where we do more than 50% of our products that we certify overall are lab-grown diamond use or jewelry. If you talk about Bombay, depending on the brand we work with and the kind of volumes that are there, we do at least 30% of our products that are certified in Bombay are laboratory grown diamond jewelry again. So as a market, I think it's exploding, not just growing. And that's what the panelists are going to second as well over here, that it is where the consumer is going to today. It is what the consumer wants. And I think there is a long way to go ahead from here. Time will tell the story, of course.
Why do we need certification?
And I think certification, in a way, legitimizes the product. Okay, it backs it up in terms of saying this is not any inferior version of a diamond. It is a laboratory grown diamond. In fact, it is, I would say, a miracle of science in itself. Is it easy to grow diamonds that are molecularly, chemically, physically, visually the same? No. But the fact that we've done it, and then India has already taken the lead in being one of the largest centers in the world, I think we should have that pride with us that, wow, we lead this segment as well, not just cutting and polishing diamonds, 80-90% of them in India, but even growing CVDs in India. So I think that's a brilliant thing to do, and certification for sure helps, because we get a lot of calls from these consumers as well at times, asking about what is the difference between a natural and a lab grown. What is the difference between even an HPH and a CVD for that matter? Okay, they even write to us. So I think as the awareness grows, it's going to make it much more transparent. And I think certification, also to add to your point, Anil bhai, is we get a warranty for everything today, right? Even if you buy a piece of iron, probably you'll get one, to say that, okay, there's a 6-month warranty on the product. So why not a beautiful product like this?
Okay, I'll add to it. I think you had only shared with me, but maybe you missed that point, got missed. See, the world over, the business runs on 2 emotions, fear and greed. And there are a lot of mixing with natural diamond and lab-grown diamond, big controversy. But if I understand correctly, remember correctly, even in lab-grown diamond there's a mixing. And for that certificate, can you elaborate? Because
Yes. So there have been cases where you would have natural diamonds, some claim to be CVDs, but then you end up having some HPHT stones in it. Even CZs for that matter. Surprisingly, there are cases, I wouldn't say a lot of cases, but there are cases where a CVD or a HPHT lab grown product will, knowingly, unknowingly carry some CZs in it and things like that. Now this obviously it's not worth the money even for a CZ versus a HPHT or a CZ versus a CVD, right? So it's always better to have that certification. To add to this, there are so India as a country has more than 50 physical diamond testing laboratories today, right? No other country in the world has that number, if you go to see. So we have access to laboratories like us and others, so you can easily go to a lab and certify product. But if you come outside India, even a market like US, which is one of the largest consumer markets for lab-grown diamonds today, we don't have that many labs to go to. You go to Middle East, there are hardly any laboratories beyond Dubai. So when we go out and certify products at these locations in Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or Bahrain for that matter, we end up still seeing, that it's a natural diamond jewelry and there is either some HPHT diamond in it or even CZ diamonds in it and things like that. Why? Because the perpetrators know that these guys do not have access to labs and they will not certify because the jewelry cannot come out of that country so easily and get certified.
thank you for your inputs.
So I have a personal analogy on this segment's growth. If you see Narcos or any of those drug cartel Netflix series, the CI always says, follow the money. Right? And where the money is going today in the industry is lab grown diamond. Correct? So that pretty much in a way defines it. If somebody is putting money on the table, there has to be something, right? They've done their due diligence, they've done their study to say, why would we invest in a lab grown diamond brand in a country like India?